Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Self-Worth Talks. I am down here in beautiful sunny Florida with Pam Mulhearn, and it's a really great place to be doing this. So I work with a lot of professional women, and one of the things that I hear the most is about how difficult it is to do public speaking. And I think the more involved you get in your career, the more you have to do that, whether it's small reports, big public speaking events. And so I really wanted to have you, Pam, here on the show today. Pam Mulhearn, you're a public speaking expert and owner and CEO of her Podium. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you, Suzanne, for having me. I am so excited to be here. I'm so excited to have you visiting me here in Florida. I hope that I can help some of your listeners with their fear of public speaking.
I am sure you're going to be able to. Full disclosure, I've taken Pam's public speaking courses, and they've been so helpful to me, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to have you on here, because it's really evidence-based in my mind. Like, you've got a great system.
Oh, thank you.
You are. So can you let us know a little bit about how you got into this business?
Sure. I had a crippling fear of public speaking for almost my entire life. I moved a lot. I was always the shy girl. And when it came to standing in front of a room, I was literally shaking in my stilettos. And I was a serial entrepreneur. And as everyone knows, whether you have a practice, whether you have a business, whether you're in corporate, you need to be able to give your message. It's really important. So I finally, later in life, decided to draw a line in the sand, and I went to a program. And while I was there, I'm like, I need to do this for women so that it's supportive, it's inspiring, it's a safe space. And then her Podium, boop, there it was created.
Yeah, and I'm so glad it was. So I know I talk a lot about limiting beliefs, and I know you have talk about that also with this. How do you feel that limiting beliefs affect public speaking ability?
Well, I am not a therapist, but I know with limiting beliefs that a seed is planted with you generally when you're younger, that you weren't good enough, that nobody wanted to hear what you had to say, that you didn't know enough, that you weren't pretty enough, skinny enough, all of the enoughs, right? And sometimes when you bring those out into the light, they don't seem so big. You're like, oh, gosh, why am I hanging on to that? I mean, we're always going to have an element of it, but it really has to do with public speaking. If you had a coach or a teacher or somebody that kind of shut you down when you were younger, you're like, oh, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. So we work on that a little bit and try to help people understand that they're in a different place right now and they have the ability to speak. It's just that limiting belief. So let's, move on and shine in your life.
I love that, because that's what I do is I work with people on understanding their limiting beliefs. Mm-hmm. And sometimes just knowing that they're not truths, they're just beliefs. And I love your class too, because people kind of share, people talk, and you see you're not the only one. Right. And you've got that commitment, so you move forward anyway. I love that. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. And can you tell us a little bit more, like, what are some of the three most common things that people do when they're doing public speaking, and maybe they work and maybe they don't?
Okay. All right. The most common things that I see that maybe people need a little adjustment on are, one, you need to engage the audience. You can't just talk about yourself. You can't just talk about everything that you know, because most of the people that speak are experts on something. You just can't just talk at people. You need to engage them. You need to ask them questions. Well, what do you think about this? Anybody understand this? Show of hands. You need to do all those things. You don't have enough stories and examples. That's another one. People love examples. That's the thing they're going to remember. When you're speaking for 30 or 40 minutes, it's a lot of information for your audience to absorb. So you got to pick out those golden nuggets, and those are the things that you want to share and put a story around it so they remember it and they leave the event and talk to other people. And the other thing is too much information. A lot of people, they're like, I want to share everything I know. You can't. They will not remember that. So pick out those golden nuggets, the things that you think are most important for them to understand and to remember. And those are the things that you share.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I know that when I was working with you, and I know when I started out with writing my speeches, it was like way too much information and all over the place. And it's like paring it down
Right.
to a common message is so important. And I know when I go to people's talks, when they have that common message, that one thing, I just always remember like just 2 or 3 things, or 1 or 2 things.
Yes.
So like kind of weaving it in.
Yep, that is so important. And the thing is that wanting to give all that information is coming from a good place. You want to share everything that you know with these people, but you just want to give them enough that they can take it away.
Yeah.
They don't need everything.
Yeah. I know, like when I did the keynote talk course with you, you really helped me with my slides, like paring it down, like even us in the slide, even just one message. So
Not too
that
much
was
information.
really helpful.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, can you tell people, so what do you do? What do you think is like helpful? What in your courses, what do you do that helps people, the most?
Okay, so structure. I'm all about structure. There is a structure to a good speech. You want an introduction. You want to introduce who you are and why we should listen to you. Why are you the expert? Why do I give you my very valuable time to listen to you? And then you want to give them like 2 or 3 points, and then you want to wrap it up. And then you want to have some kind of call to action. You don't have to, but if you want them to contact you for more information, or if you've got a class coming up or an event or something, then you want to give them some kind of call to action. But it's really that simple to just do that structure. That's really important. And the other things like that we discuss in class are we do prepared presentations, we do impromptus. What if your boss comes to you and says, hey, I need you to speak on such and such for 3 minutes. Can you do it? Most people are like, oh, I don't want to. So what we work on in class every time is to you get it into your head, this structure that introduce what you're going to talk about it and wrap it up. Boom, done. That's it. So, and the other thing is that we do in class is we do, when we're practicing, we get feedback from the rest of the audience. All the other students give you feedback. What hit me? What was engaging? What did I need to change? It's amazing how little tweaks when you're doing it. So, I'm not telling you to come to my course. I'm just saying that go to some course, like get yourself really confident when you're speaking.
Yeah. I mean, you say it's, in some ways it sounds like it's so simple to you, but it's not.
Right.
For us who have never done any training in public speaking, it's not always intuitive.
Right.
So having that structure and practicing, and even like I remember giving people feedback. And even when you give other people feedback, you learn something absolutely for yourself, like what works and what doesn't work. So
right. Don't forget, I was in the place of my students, years back. So I get it. I know what that fear is. And like, okay, let's get you over that hump. Let's get you talking. Let's get you sharing your message. Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, if your boss asks you just to do something for 3 minutes, to him, it's nothing. Right. Like it's just give a report. Right. But for you, all of a sudden you're speaking in front of people. Yes. And I know I was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, I would have choked up and not been able to even do that 3-minute thing. So, and the same thing with introductions, when you're in a room and it's like, okay, let's let everybody do introductions. Oh yeah. Everybody kind of goes into themselves, right? And they're not thinking about or listening to who everybody is and what they do. You're thinking about, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say so that I'm not stupid sounding? Yes, exactly. So being able to do that and having that organization in your head is so helpful. Oh yeah. Okay. You're speaking my language. Everyone's. So can you give us a couple tips that would be helpful for us to think about when we're doing public speaking? Sure. Only 2. Well, I have so go on and on. Tips. Okay. So my favorite one is the pause. When you have that inkling that you need to say an R or an because you want to get your head back straight and back in the game, and where was I in my speech, just take a pause. It's okay. When you see really good preachers on the pulpit, they take a pause. They let that information sink in, they get their head together, and then they proceed. That's the biggest one. Use the pause. The pause is your friend. Another one is to slow down. We all want to talk and get it out and get it over with, but slow it down almost to the point that it's uncomfortable. Just take it down. slow it down, let the audience absorb what you have to say, because even if you're talking slowly, you're still probably talking too quickly. And I'm a quick talker, so I have to really regulate that so I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
You gotta slow
helpful.
it down.
Wow, those are great tips. Thank you, Pam. So Pam, we're doing this event for coaches and therapists who want to try to get out there and be more present, have a bit, know what their voice is and be able to use it and expand their business in different ways. And you're going to be working with people on public speaking and how to understand some of that and get better at it. So I'm really excited to hear what you have to say. I know it's going to be so helpful for people. And that's March 23rd. And that's going to be remote, so on Zoom.
Right. And we have a great lineup of speakers.
We really do.
Oh my gosh. It's just like soup to nuts.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
So look on my my Instagram, my LinkedIn, there'll be a lot of information about that. But so how can people reach you, Pam? And what, like, you do classes like level 1 and level 2. So where are you with that? When are they starting again?
Okay. So I just started a new batch of classes. So the next ones will be starting in April. Contact me. Let's talk about your speaking journey. Let's talk about where your goals are, what the things that bother you. I'm sure I've heard it all before. No need to be embarrassed. I am here to make women stronger. My motto is empower a woman's voice and she can change the world. Like, I'm here to help. So pam@herpodium.com. You can contact me. Let's set up a time, or you can check out my website, Her Podium, and let's talk. Let's get that conversation started.
I love that. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
There's so many more questions that I have. You're going to have to definitely come back.
I will.
And give us some more information. And all your information will be in the show notes. And people will be able to reach out to you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. And thanks for coming to the Self-Worth Talks.